Hi, my name is Aaron Thomas, Marketing Director here at Start.ca, and joining with me is Peter Rocca, CEO of Start.ca. Pete, how are you?
Doing good, thanks.
Great. It's another great edition of Start Talk where you get to ask the CEO any question you want using Start.ca's social media channels. So please go on Start.ca and you can find the Facebook link and be a part of the show. So on today's show, we've got a whole bunch of questions. And one of the first questions that came in, it really started a whole discussion and a massive thread on Facebook. So I'm just going to ask you, and we'll take one of the questions here. It's from from Jana Burge, and it's regarding throttling. So first question I want to ask you is, does Start.ca throttle?
No. So I did take a look at the thread. You know, we had talked a little bit about this question in advance because I think it's important to kind of address a couple of the things that came out in that thread. And obviously, the question was pretty simple to start. Why do we throttle? And we don't. But it really kind of started talking a little bit about fair use policies and why a connection might be slow. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity to really talk about what a fair use policy is, and do we have one? So fair use policy generally is when a provider has a limit, some sort of limit on how much usage a person can have before they'll start to either violate that policy or they may take technical methods to slow it down. So this is kind of where throttling is. So say use a certain amount of traffic in a day or a month, it might slow your connection down to ensure that the network has capacity for other customers. Because there really can be a big impact between someone who's using connection all the time and people that are not using connection all the time. So a few years ago, we, along with many other providers, had fair use policies, and some still do today. But I don't know, it was a year or 2 years ago, I don't remember exactly when, we decided to get rid of our fair use policy. We just weren't actually implementing it, and we really didn't need to leverage it. Our network is, we had always purchased enough capacity to be ahead of it and not need that technical means of slowing things down. So we thought we'll just make things simple and get rid of it. So there's, some providers still have fair use policies, and but we scrapped that. We used to call ours, I think it was an unlimited use policy, and kind of talked about, I forget what the specifics were, but if you use like 20 gigabytes in a day or something like that, then you would have like a different priority. And it was complicated to explain, and like I said, we just really never leveraged it. So we got rid of it. And I think in a previous show, someone asked, how much can you use on unlimited? And you could 24/7 if you want. We just don't need to implement the fair use policy.
And sometimes I've seen before where, I think we've done it in the past, where you can have unlimited internet, but it's only, let's say, between 2 and 5 in the morning.
Right.
So that would be part of maybe the fair use policy that we used to have, or?
We still have a few plans that are non-unlimited plans, mostly legacy. Some people had plans before most of our plans went to unlimited, and those plans have been grandfathered, and they're still using them. So for those plans, what we had is a policy that between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., or we still have a policy, for people that are on quoted services, we just don't count that usage. And really it was to help incent people from, that really wanted to download a bunch of stuff and could schedule it to run in the middle of the night. There's an incentive for them to do that because it wouldn't count towards their usage. So some people still take advantage of that, and we still have that. But the vast majority of our customers are on unlimited plans, and it's just unlimited 24/7.
That's great. Very interesting to know.
So actually, I did want to. So someone in there said, "Well, why is my Netflix slow? I can barely, I can barely watch Netflix, and so you must be slowing me down." And I think that's kind of what started it off. There's lots of reasons why people might experience time of day slowness. Quite often, it's the wireless. So especially if you go onto your phone or your tablet and you see like a dozen other wireless connections from your neighbors, that means those wireless signals could be interfering with the capacity of wireless in your home. But those are things that we can certainly help you out. So anyone that is experiencing a time of day issue, or well, it's just any problem with their internet, that's what we're here for. So give us a call, and we'd be more than happy to see what we can do. Quite often it's as simple as changing the frequency that your router's on and picking a different channel.
Picking a channel. I had that had some buffering, and I called up and they switched over to several channels, and finally we nailed the one that was getting the best type of bandwidth in the house and Wi-Fi.
Exactly. It's pretty common.
Yeah, very easy. Okay, so we have another interesting question that came in on Facebook, and it's from Corey Somerville. And Corey would like to know, have we ever thought about getting into the home security business here at Start.ca?
It's certainly something we've thought about. I think we've got a couple other projects that we want to get done ahead of that. And we'd want to make sure that if we were going to do home security, that we had a way to make sure that we were competitive and delivered a good product. So something we could certainly, something that may still be on the horizon, but nothing that we have concrete plans for at this time.
So let me ask you, just out of the blue, do you see the future of home security being more of the consistent wiring in the home, or the new technology where it's Wi-Fi and connected to routers in the home, and where it's the smart connection in the home?
I think there's certainly a move towards that. And you take a look at even comfort monitoring, the Nest products and a lot of their competitors for fire alarm, for CO detection, for home monitoring and alerting. There certainly is a push to wireless, cloud-based monitoring systems.
The Internet of Things to come, I should say. Another question here from, this is pretty much from everybody on our Facebook group. Any news to share on Start TV?
Yes. Actually, I think we can share a little bit of news, and I think we had talked a little bit about the fact that we had gone back to look for a reevaluate our middleware vendor. We were just not happy with the glue that kind of held everything together. We went through a lengthy vetting process this time to make sure that we didn't go down a path that was expensive and took a lot of time and didn't deliver a product that we wanted to. So we did pick the vendor. We're going to be launching on a Ericsson Media First platform, which we're really excited about. And we really spared no expense in choosing this platform. It really is a really amazing platform. It's got all sorts of functionality that's not available in traditional TV, and it seamlessly travels between devices in your home. You can be on your mobile tablet, your laptop, your cell phone. So we're really happy about the experience and the product that we're going to be able to deliver. We're not quite ready to share the timeline yet. We want to make sure we get a little further down, but we're about a month in since we started working with this vendor, and we're pretty happy with the progress rate.
So it's basically a tier 1 product that you're going to be able to see, as you mentioned before, the Ericsson.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would put a tier on it, but there is top of the line. There's just it's
the latest and greatest.
Latest and greatest, and in my opinion, the best platform available out there.
Well, I'm sure everybody who's watching this is going to be extremely excited. Last question for the show today is from John, and John would like to know, would you consider a management partnerships with municipalities who own their own fiber networks?
Yeah, I think we're always open to talking to municipalities. If there was a fit, we'd love to do that. We're pretty good at, we've gotten pretty good at deploying fiber, and we certainly have been managing networks for 20 years. So if there's a specific example that, sorry, was it John?
Yeah.
That John was thinking of, definitely reach out to us, and we'd love to talk about it.
And here's a side question. Do you find that smaller municipalities, rural municipalities, are faster to implement fiber service than the larger cities?
That's it's really hard to say. I think every municipality is a little bit different. One of the advantages a municipality has is they're able to cut through a lot of the red tape in terms of access to rights of ways and poles and other facilities that they may have in place. But where a lot of them struggle is in the management of that network. I know that there's some cases nearby that I'm not going to name that are very competent builders, but where they've really kind of struggled is how do they support a wide base of customers with a wide variety of issues. So some municipalities have done a really good job of doing both, and some have been able to build facilities but had more difficulty on the network side. But we're constantly expanding our fiber footprint. We're in London right now, but there are a lot of communities outside of London that we're looking at, and if there's a relationship out there with a municipality that wants to work with us, we're more than happy to talk about it.
Fiber is the future. Well, we appreciate everything. On the next show, you're going to hear some great questions and answers from the CEO of Start.ca, Peter Rocca. And to get those questions in, visit our social media channels. Once again, you can do that by going to our website, www.start.ca, and on the bottom, you'll find all of our social media tabs, and click there and ask a question when you see the show coming up. My name is Aaron Thomas, Marketing Director, and once again, Peter Rocca, CEO of Start.ca. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for the questions.